Also, you ever stop to ask yourself a question? Should you not be asking questions yourself? In other words, to ask yourself the question, about what you're being taught. Is what so-and-so teaching you, preaching to you, is it the truth? Is it backed up by this? Does this verify that what they're saying is the truth? Okay, I have a verse here I want to read to you. It's in 2 Peter chapter 2, and verse 1. But there were false prophets also among the people, even as there shall be false teachers among you, who privily shall bring in damnable heresies, even denying the Lord that bought them, and bring upon themselves swift destruction. And many shall follow their pernicious ways, by reason of whom the way of truth shall be evil spoken of. And through covetousness shall they with feigned words make merchandise of you, whose judgment now of a long time lingereth not, and their damnation slumbereth not. You got many people out there who's in it for greed and power. And some just love to feed off of fear just outright. You ever been around people, individuals who love, bullies for one. They love fear. They love to put fear in the people, alright? Well, but you've seen this yourself. I think there's not one person who hasn't really ever seen it before. And when we was kids, growing up, we, through our lives, we've seen it off and on. Seen it from amongst other kids, inflicting it on others, and then we've seen it with adults. They even show it in movies and stuff. Hollywood's full of that. But you got people who love feeding off of people like a vampire. They like sucking the life out of them, and they take people's money. They take their spirit away from them, their hope away from them. Well, they kind of give them a hope, but what they give them is a false hope. All right, it's just so they give them enough, just so they can keep the person coming. They'll starve them from what is true, and then once they got them completely off of the truth, then they start feeding them the lies and the falsehoods, all the other stuff that they want to lure them in on, and they'll feed it to them. So eventually these people, this is all they know. And so be careful of anybody. I don't care who they are, period. It doesn't matter what their name is, what they're calling themselves. If they're instilling fear, okay, if they're trying to manipulate you in order to keep you still going there by just feeding you false things and trying to steal your hope away from you, and teaching you things that's not in here, that's contrary. When you sit there and you can read it for yourself and see it, and it's like, hey, something's just not right here. So I could remember doing that. I could remember when, because I remember going to church, and before I made a mistake of falling away, and it was because I was focusing on the wrong thing. I was focusing on people and stuff instead of keeping my eyes on the Lord. And that's what happens to a lot of people. But anyway, I was seeing that, all these people doing all these different things, and I was focusing on it. But I was But I could remember at first, I would just wouldn't question. Until I started, as I was reading in the Word, I was like, wait a minute. They said this and this and this, but here it says this and this and this. Who do I believe? Them or this? They twisted. Now, I know what I'm fixing to say. Now, please understand where I'm coming from. Don't get all upset and bent out of shape with me, all right? I'm asking you, please. Just bear with me. Understand where I'm coming from. All right. Now, King James. Now, I love the King James Bible, but also I love the NIV and CSB and the NASB. But here's what I'm trying to get at. All right, now, because this is Old English, right, in the King James. And I know you got New King James, and I love it too. Okay, but what I'm pointing out is most of your cults are people who want to manipulate you, which is, might as well consider some kind of a cult of the nature of sort. Okay, but the thing is, they because of it being Old English and some of the words which we no longer use, to us we no longer know what they mean, some of them, because it's Old English. Okay, so it's kind of cryptic in its way, and it makes it easy for someone who's already wanting to use it to manipulate you by manipulating this, and it just makes it easier for something that's old. This is why I urge you to use a New King James or NIV, as what I call a backup, or anything that will help you get a clearer picture of what the Scriptures is saying. Okay, that's what I'm generally trying to point out, because these cult groups will totally manipulate you. Any person who's not even a cult member, but of any sort, but there's different preachers who get up and will do that. So that's why you got to question what's being taught. Look at the Word, and beware of false prophets, false teachers, anyone who's putting on the appearance that they walk in the light. So examine it for yourself. Don't fall into their traps. Okay, this is what I'm trying to say. Look it up for yourself. Check it out. Check the records out. And if there is 2 or 3 witnesses who have experienced something from these people, and these witnesses are not people that's prone to make up stuff, I would seriously listen to them. I would seriously do so. But back it up first with the Word of God first. That's my encouragement to you. So it should be backed up and checked up. Okay? Back it up, check it up, look it up. Okay? Think of it like that, and you won't go wrong. All right? And trust in the Lord to be your guide. Don't trust in man. I can fail you. Your best friend can fail you, but God will never fail you. All right? Remember that. Shalom, and God bless you all. Aho.